Well, let me start with your second question. I think our biggest challenge are the resources in Colorado. Absolutely, I don't think there's any question. I think there are a lot of things we know how to do, and Jeffco is very lean and mean in we invest in the classroom. Now, the trending, you all know that we passed 2 elections in 2004, bond election, which resulted in these buildings, and the mill levy override. We told the voters at that time we'd be back in 4 to 5 years, and we will most likely be back in 4 to 5 years, or we will begin making reductions. We've been very strategic, and we have not spent all the money, and we've gradually spent down. The school year 08-09 is the last year that we will be able to operate without making some significant reductions. And that's because, it's not because we foolishly spend money. We are very frugal, we are very strategic, and in fact, I'm going to have to turn to Mr. Benefield because I never get this right. Our ratings from the financial institutions are AA- and what's the other one?
You're doing good.
I'm doing good. We have very high ratings from the agencies because we have a good cash balance and we won't spend that money. We have a 7% reserve, but consequently we will be reducing because we're funded at cost of living, but the cost of living doesn't include fuel, doesn't include health care, doesn't include compensation. The cost of living factor basically is housing, and we don't buy a lot of houses. So it's an odd way that we're funded. So our cost of living increases do not actually keep up with the true cost of operating. We drive 25,000 miles a day. I mean, think of fuel prices right now. So the trend will be dismal if our voters don't support us on another election. Then we're pretty well held harmless and we continue the strong programs that we have.
Would that be 2008 or 9?
It'll be probably 2008. We'll probably be back to the voters. And in case you think we're an anomaly, Cherry Creek, Jeffco, Douglas, Mapleton, no, Littleton isn't, unless they've changed their mind, they will not be. But the big major districts, the only ones that are not going to be on the ballot will be Littleton, Westminster, Commerce City, Boulder. The rest of us will be. St. Vrain will be. We will all be back because we all face the same dilemma. So, but we're good. And I think along those lines, most of you know this, and I don't know whether this helps you or hurts you as you're working with clients. Colorado is 49th compared to their wealth in funding of K-12 and in funding of higher education. And there are only 50 states, so we're not doing very well. Now those numbers change each year as you look at the national funding picture. So over the last year we were 49th, and in fact, Colorado funds K-12 students. I don't know that you want to tell people this. Colorado funds K-12 students. Last year it was about $900 less per child than the average funding in the nation. Not the top funding, the average funding. So when you look at Jeffco, that's about $80 to $85 million more that we would have for the kids. Now, that's a function of Tabor, that's a function of the Constitution, and that's a function of our property taxes. So, you know, it's a difficult thing. So, you know, I don't know whether that's helpful or hurtful, but we are not a state that funds education. And, you know, when you've probably seen when you get clients, when we get parents who move in from Illinois, and they look at their property tax bills, they go, you people are paying nothing. You know, so it's an interesting dilemma for us.